record, we recorded drums at the basement in North Carolina with Mr. Jamie King. The trip itself was really fun. It's always nice to be able to get out of your home to get to work. Just that way there's no distractions or anything like that. You're there to do one thing. I think that was another thing that attracted us to working with Jamie on this one.
It was very therapeutic. It's almost like a vacation. For me, it takes some of the stress off. I got to hang out with Cameron and Ben. We got to stay in a pretty nice hotel. The whole time was just fun. We didn't do anything that was majorly stressful, and nobody was necessarily having a bad time.
You ended up not going to North Carolina for the tracking session.
No, I did not. I had to work. As much as I wanted to be there, I felt like it was for the better that I didn't go, because one, there was no way they could have fit with 4 people in that car and all that drum gear to get up to North Carolina. 2, I trusted the dudes enough that any of my thoughts would be their thoughts, and that ultimately they would know what the vision was, and that I didn't have to be there to make sure that that was the case. I'm not bitter, though.
You're not?
Studio he runs it out of his basement. It's a really small room, which is a good thing. I like the sound of small rooms with drums.
Less of a studio, more of a house. It was very, very homey, very inviting. Really, really chill place to be at. Professional, sure, but had, like, you know, not necessarily a professional atmosphere to it.
Odie.
Hello.
Odie.
Hello.
So we decided to go with Jamie King this time around, just because we've heard a lot of the productions that he's done in the past and really, really enjoy them. Drums are a really hard thing for us to do ourselves. You have to have a really good sounding room, a lot of equipment to make drums sound album ready, and that's just not something we had access to.
What we're looking for in the quality of this record, we knew that we could get from working with him. Jamie offered a very easy solution to a lot of our past problems as far as like drum quality production, and all the drums were tracked in one space, and they were done very quickly. They were done concisely with somebody who just knew what they were doing and knew how to get the production that we wanted as far as drums.
What was it like working with Jamie?
Really fun. Super, super laid back guy. Really funny, not sensitive. Can, you know, roll with the punches really hard. Giving tidbits of advice here and there. Suggestions. Not necessarily exactly what we should do, but, you know, hey, it'd be cool if we threw this in, or maybe you should go for this.
He was pretty hands-on. Like I said, he's really, really quick. So basically what we would do is just do a run-through of an entire song and then kind of just punch wherever we needed to. It was just really impressive how well he could get around a song without having heard it before. Like, he could be as ridiculous as like, no, we need to go back and do the that part. And he's like, oh yeah, right there, cool.
How would you describe him as a person?
He's just really funny. He's really funny and really, really relaxed. Like, when it's go time, he knows his shit. He knows what's up. He knows what needs to be done.
Jamie King's a funny dude. My favorite parts are like all the jokes that he would make throughout the process. It was just cool to see that he was a very down-to-earth and relaxed guy. And nothing ever got tense, nothing ever got weird. It was always fun.
Did he attain the drum sound you were looking for, and if so, how?
I think we did. I think that was the one thing that we were all kind of unsatisfied with after the EP was the sound of the drums. So we knew going into a full-length record that it had to be really, really top-notch. It was nice this time to have a sound like a goal sound in mind, and then try to achieve that rather than just like going into the studio blind and trying to come up with something that sounds good.
We were looking for somewhat of a modern drum sound, but we didn't want to fall into the same traps as some of the other modern drum sounds of other metal album records were. Like, one of the big things is, like, we wanted a really good kick. That's something that would have that signature kind of clicky sound of those death metal kind of tones, but it would also have that lower tone for that nice punch.
We didn't necessarily want something that was going to be too attacky. We wanted something that had girth and punch to it. And I feel like we got that for sure. The snare tone was something that was interesting. We wanted something with enough snap and body to it without it like ringing and being too resonant. Like all the drums on the Between the Buried and Me albums and on Wretched's albums, they have a distinct sound that Jamie King, you can hear from his production, and his production is like upgraded across time. So you can really hear how he's refined it into like a craft. And I feel like on this album, he really gave us the pinnacle of that modern drum production.
As far as sounds, I mean, Jamie King was an obvious choice for me when, it came time to look for somebody, just because of BT Bam. BT Bam, I like their drums. I like Blake Richardson. Not necessarily just because of his style, but I like the way that his drums sound on each of the records that they've done.
The percussive elements. We had a gong. It was sort of a joke, but then we did it. It was like, we can't not use the gong.
I think the gong thing was his idea, putting the gong in one of the songs. He was just like, fuck it, let's do it.
I mean, there's a gong here, we gotta hit it once.
And that'll have a little flanger on it.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that halfway through. I was like, that might sound cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
There's like a little xylophone that we tracked a part in the first song. Instead of using our MIDI version that we had been using before, it was like, well, why don't we just knock that out here and get like an actual instrument? And it sounds like the timbre is exactly like the recorded one, just less sterile because it's not programmed.
I always love experimenting and kind of just improvising things in studio. I think that's where a lot of the like really, really cool stuff in a record comes out. It's the stuff that's not necessarily planned going in.
Tell me about the ending of Kingdom.
Yeah, that was cool. That was kind of the one thing that we definitely wanted a specific aesthetic with that part, a specific vibe. And Jamie helped capture that a lot. We went lights out and like I said, kind of toned down some of the attack of the drums and kind of had a different sound for it. A little bit more of a flowy, liquidy kind of sound.
We had the lights up and there's like a little disco ball light going and everything, and it was just a lot of fun. We did it just for the thematic sense of it.
You think the disco ball is a little much?
No. Everyone needs a disco ball. But yeah, that was a really fun way to end it, especially, to end in that kind of chill, like really cool note.